Hello, campers. I just got through watching a movie called Dogma. It has some very interesting things to say, and it really makes you think. For instance, you see some of the life of Christ in the Bible from age newborn to age 12. Then you don't see him again for 18 years. It never talks about Mary and Joseph after Mary gave birth to Christ. And it never gave a whole lot of conversation to the life of Christ from 12 to 30. And that was a whole different time then. I mean, in those days, you were considered an adult at age 13. A boy apprenticed himself to somebody, learned the job, which we assume to be Joseph, that Christ would have apprenticed himself to. And then he would have went from apprentice all the way up to master. Whereupon he would have started his own business. Now, just prior to starting his own business, usually age 20, which is considered middle-aged in that time period. 20 to 30 is considered middle-aged. You're 40, you're old. You're ancient history. If you ever make it 60, you're ancient history. But, so at 20, you start your family. So let's go back a little bit. Religion tries to have us believe that Mary and Joseph, married couple, Mary is a virgin. She gives birth to Christ. Mary's Joseph, and they never get busy in the bed. So Christ has no brothers or sisters. Yet, if you look very closely in the Bible, I ain't going to tell you where, you look it up. It discusses two of the disciples as being the brothers of Christ. Not only that, but, like I said, usually 20, 25, you get married and have kids. You settle down and have a family, usually with a young girl. Age 13 to 16. You make it past 16, you're a spinster. You ain't getting married. So, conceivably, and by the way of the times, 2,000 years ago, Christ probably was married. And if he, even at age 25, if he waited that long to settle down, then it's conceivable that between 25 and 30, he had children. But we don't discuss those. There's a lot of things about the Bible we don't discuss. But, again, we don't discuss these things. We do not discuss that Mary Magdalene, presumably what everybody tries to make her out to be, which everybody tries to make her out to be a whore, normally, to have a gesture such as the washing of the feet, you don't do that to somebody you just walk past, even if he is the Son of God. A wife would do this for her husband, but that'd be about it. And there is further proof in the Bible that states that Mary Magdalene was actually one of the disciples, but she was also Christ's wife. There's all sorts of apocrypha out there. Apocrypha are books of the Bible that the Bible left out. I mean, you can see this between the Roman Catholic Bible and the Jewish Bible and the Quran, the Torah, the Presbyterian Bible. If you look very closely, you will notice there's books that aren't in, they're not exactly the same. Some of it's just from how it was interpreted from one language to the other, and some just because it made a better story. Now, this is going to get me in trouble with the church, but the church made, when the King James Bible was presented, the people of the time, they decided which books was going to go in there. There is a book in the Bible that describes the life of Christ as a young child, where he made birds. He took clay and made birds, and brought the clay to life, and the birds flew off. There was also the story of how he was playing around with a kid and pushed him off the top of the building, I believe it was, and killed the kid. Christ was young, he didn't know any better. Joseph talked to him, and Christ brought the kid back to life. So, but these are stories that we don't want to hear, because that would put kind of a slight on Christ. But there's more to the story than people want to look at. And I spoke on that before. People don't want to see the whole picture. It makes it easier to believe. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and there's a reason behind this which a lot of you aren't going to believe. I am a certified member of the clergy. I am a minister. Sit down and read the Bible. I mean, actually sit down and read it. And don't read it looking at it the way your minister told you to look at it, or the way mom and dad told you to look at it. Sit down and read it, but read it. Read the book of Matthew. Look for stuff that in your heart you can see, but nobody's ever looked at. Everybody's glazed over that part because we don't want to discuss it. But sit down, take an hour. Don't read Matthew 3, verse 12 through 16. Read the book of Matthew, or the book of Mark, or the book of John. Read for yourself and look at it for yourself. You might discover that the religion you follow ain't exactly the religion you're following. Have fun.